All right, what is up, everyone? My name is Chris, and today I'm going to be looking at an old trade that helped the Flyers draft Travis Konecny. All right, so this trade was just unreal. Last night I'm researching on my phone, and I saw a video that Steve Dangle made about an old trade that helped the Oilers acquire Andreas Anthony when they traded Chris Pronger to the Anaheim Ducks. That helped them get Andreas Anthony at this year's NHL trade deadline. Now, when I researched, I went and I tried to find anything with the Flyers that helped them get a player that was a very big key piece to their team, like Anthony is to the Oilers. He's a pretty solid player, especially as it goes back 14 years, how that helped them get him. Just some crazy stuff. So I wanted to go back. I researched a lot. I wanted to see if there was anything that helped the Flyers get any key player right now. So many of you may remember the 2015 NHL draft. It's the McDavid draft. It's easily the best draft and probably since the Crosby era. Ovechkin, maybe Marc-Andre Fleury, like all that stuff. It was an insanely high draft. So many good players in the first round, even early second round. It was just a very high talented draft. And you may remember the Flyers had the 7th overall pick as well. They also had the 29th. And that they acquired in the trade. I'll get all of that in a minute. But those were the 2 picks the Flyers had in that first round, and they already drafted Ivan Provorov. So they already had their big piece in Provorov, which I absolutely loved on draft night. I wanted them to get Provorov. They needed a defenseman at the time, and it was a solid pick. And obviously, it's paying huge dividends for them right now, as Provorov is one of the best players on the Flyers and easily the best defenseman on the team. So I'm going to put this up on a board right here. I'm going to explain this all nice and neatly so you guys can understand it. It's very hard to comprehend, so if you have trouble, then please pause the video and reread it again, go back, anything. So I'm going to put this up on the board here so you guys can understand this completely. All right, so now I'm going to be looking at how exactly the Flyers ended up drafting Travis Konecny. So this is just a big mess. And as I said before, if you get confused, pause the video, go back and look at it, because it is a little bit confusing of how teams swap picks and stuff like that. But this ends up starting July 3rd, 2011. Toronto trades defenseman Brett Lebda, forward Robert Slaney, and a 2013 4th-round conditional pick to Nashville for defenseman Cody Franson, forward Matthew Lombardi, and a 2013 4th-round conditional pick. So they swapped defensemen, forwards, and 4th-round conditionals in the same year, and that's what happens in that trade. Now, to go to Franson's stats, he ends up getting traded again to Nashville in the 14-15 season, and he doesn't necessarily have a great tenure with Toronto when he plays. His one good season was in 12-13 when they actually made the playoffs, and that was when they historically lost. They blew that 4-1 lead in the third period, ended up losing in overtime 5-4 in Game 7 versus Boston in the first round. That was really his only good season. He had a couple. He had some good seasons point wise, but plus minus he was awful in 13-14. It was minus 20 in 79 games played. In the lockout season, he ended up playing in the Swedish Elite League, and then after when he went to Nashville in 14-15. Which I'm going to talk about that trade in a minute. Then he ended up playing with Chicago, Buffalo, and he's now in the KHL. So he didn't have the greatest tenure with Toronto. He wasn't a bad defenseman. I never minded him. I didn't see much of him because I became a fan during the lockout. So really when I started watching him was when he had his good season. But besides that, and then after that, the Leafs were horrible. And then they started to become really good again in about 2016. Played the Capitals in the first round, ended up losing in 6. But even still, they didn't have the best tenure with Franson, but they ended up trading him again on February 15th, 2015. And this trade was Franson and forward Mike Santorelli to Nashville for Olli Jokinen, Brendan Leipsic, and a 2015 first-round pick. So the Leafs end up getting that first-round pick from Nashville, which ends up being 24th overall. And then on March 2nd, now this is where the Flyers come in. March 2nd, 2015, the Flyers acquired defenseman Radko Gudas, 2015 first-round pick, and a 2015 third-round pick for Braden Coburn. So Coburn goes to Tampa, Flyers get Gudas, and that 15 first-rounder ends up being 29th overall because Tampa loses in the Stanley Cup final to Chicago. Kimmo Timonen ends up winning the Stanley Cup with the Blackhawks, his only cup he's ever won. One of the greatest hockey moments I've ever seen. I love Timonen. He was one of my favorite Flyers, and I actually cried when he won the Stanley Cup. I was so happy for him. But regardless, Then the Flyers end up having the 29th overall pick. Toronto has 24. So on draft night, the Leafs are on the clock and the Flyers trade up. So what happens is the Flyers trade up they trade the 29th and the 61st overall to Toronto for the 24th, and then they draft Travis Konecny. Now, for any of you guys going into this after that, if anyone was wondering what Toronto did with that 29th overall pick, they actually traded that. They traded the 29th to Columbus for the 34th and 68th. And that 68th overall pick in the third round was originally the Flyers when they traded that for Steve Mason with Columbus. So, again, it's just some crazy stuff here. And, again, I thought this was a really cool trade. And I thought it was definitely cool to see how it was broken down 4 years beforehand, and then how it was even broken down in 2015. But even still, I had a lot of fun doing this. All right, what's up, everyone? So again, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I had a lot of fun making that. It took me a while. As of now, it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. I recorded the beginning part at like 9:30 this morning. That's how long it took me to edit the pictures and get all the stats and stuff like that. But again, I had fun doing it. It was a really good thing that I enjoyed doing. I would do it again if there's any trades that you guys, if any of you guys know anything, you guys want to do some research, and I can look into it as well if there's anything else. At this point, I'm kind of like struggling for what to post. So again, any ideas, any players you guys will want me to review, anything. I'll do literally anything. So comment that below. Follow me on Instagram at FlyersFanmania. You can follow me on Twitter or my Instagram is at FlyersFanmania93. My Twitter is at FlyersFanmania. I kind of get them confused because Twitter only lets you put like 15 letters or something in your username, so I couldn't put 93 at the end of it. But again, podcast, articles, those links are on my channel. Hope you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.